rule play. You made your living as a middle infielder. Tell us what happened there.
Well, there's two things. As a middle infielder, you know when an infield rule play could possibly happen. First and second, less than 2 outs. If you can get underneath a ball, then you're going to be able to get that call. That means the batter is going to be out and the runners advance on their own risk. That's what's in question here. Let's go to the breakdown, and I'll explain this as we go through it. Now, you got Simmons here in the 8th inning, hits the pop fly. The shortstop's going back. Now, a lot of people are saying, how come the umpire didn't call it immediately? The umpire's job is to make sure that ball gets to its highest peak, and then he makes the call. So right here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 umpires you're going to see. And what are they all doing? They're looking at the baseball. They've got to determine, is it going to be at its peak? He's still going out, and the shortstop is going to drift. Nobody's calling infield fly because he's still drifting. And they're looking at the ball. Is it at its peak? When it finally gets to his peak, what's the umpire now do? He looks at the shortstop to see now his job, is he under control? Watch him drift, drift, drift. He gets to a point. Now he turns. He shows the umpire, I'm under control. The umpire immediately raises his hand, but at the same time, this ball's falling fast. Okay? Now, when the ball falls, by the time on TV, everybody, oh, he called it so late. He's already recognized that he's called it, and look how close this lands to him. You don't believe me? We traced his footsteps, okay? Now, watch where he's at when he stops to come forward. The ball lands right next to him. That's a reasonable, under-control catch in the outfield. That's why I'm saying the umpire's got it right. Now, it happens all year long. Let's go back. May 16th, in Chicago. Starlin Castro goes back, he drifts, he makes a play. Now, I want you to recognize two things. One, he waves. He says, I got it. The umpire, his arm is not giving it to him yet. No, he's still waving. He still has not given him the sign for infield fly rule until the ball is what? At its peak, and he's under control. Now he's under control, he gives him the infield fly rule. You have to show that you are reasonably under control, and you can go out as far as you can, and the part of the rule says, even if an outfielder is standing underneath him and he says and shows that the infielder is next to me and the outfielder can catch it, it's still the infield fly rule. That's why I think the umpires got it right. To me, as soon as it happened, there was no argument in my mind. But I know a lot of people did. But I've had that happen ton and ton of times playing the infield.
Okay, and what I guess the question I want to ask you is the umpire, they try to make that call as late as possible to be able to protect the base runners, correct?
I think it's both. The base runners and the defense. Now, particularly the offense, you're absolutely right. But what if I got a speedy runner and I want to eliminate him? Not only am I looking to get a double play, but I may want to drop that ball and take that fast guy off the base. And that's another reason to protect the base runners of the offense in this case.
So if the rule is designed to, quote-unquote, protect the base runners from being doubled up, infielder drops it to double or perhaps even triple up a situation on base, the enforcement of the rule in this circumstance with the shortstop so far out into left field almost worked the other way. It penalized the offensive team and the runners on base. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
And there are those that would say because that play happened so deep in the outfield, then the enforcement shouldn't be called out there. That's the counter argument.
No, I understand that. But I also understand this, that I understand the Braves protest. I didn't think it was right. It looked ugly. It's in flames, and it's a playoff game and everything else. But it happens all the time, all summer long in the big leagues. Every infielder is taught, get as deep as you can. And particularly, here's the other thing you got to think about, guys, situation. Who's playing left field for the Cardinals? Matt Holliday. If I know he's out there and you're the shortstop and you can get to a ball, you're going. In the case of Starlin Castro with the Cubs, he knows he's got Soriano. He's going to get that ball. If this is Josh Hamilton in left field or Alex Gordon in left field, you may not see the outfielder go out quite as far.
Yeah, so I get it. So the halo almost expands in terms of the rule based on personnel. I do get that, at least.
With the mindset of going to get it.
Right, I get that. I actually entered this thinking that I was going to punch a hole in whatever you had, and you said, I'm going to show you the definitive tape to end all the arguments, and I think you did. I think I'm buying you right now.
Well, that's good to hear.
Let's just keep Ripken out.